Alright, this is the Umarex MP5K PDW, and it's a CO2 BB gun that shoots 4.5 or 177 caliber BBs. Now it uses a single CO2, and I'll show you more of that later. It has a 40 round magazine. It does have blowback, which I'll show you. It's a blowback port right here. But the blowback is actually just for cosmetics, so it doesn't really have anything to do with the action. It just basically makes the port, this ejection port, move back and forth, and does give it a little bit of a kick feel, not a lot. Some people are saying it doesn't give you any, but it does. You can feel it working, especially on a newer CO2. You can feel the action working, which is kind of nice. But how this gun works, I was hoping to make it fully automatic, but the way that it works is when you pull the trigger back, the barrel moves forward, which allows a BB to come in, and as it comes back, it hits the CO2 release, which releases CO2. So there's really no way to make this fully automatic. I'm not even going to try. I was informed by somebody from one of my other posts that making this fully automatic really isn't possible. So what it is what it is. It's really a neat looking gun. I've had people ask me, what is it like compared to the Steel Storm? Well, it's completely different. This one is really, it's all licensed from the original firearm. It's very authentic looking. It is very plasticky, but it does have some weight, and especially when you add the rail and a scope on there, it really does give it a bit of weight, and so it does feel pretty neat. It looks very realistic, and what can you say? It's like comparing apples to oranges. It's really a different weapon. I did have a chance to give it a little bit of a test today, trying to sight in my scope, and I did get it sighted in. It's not super accurate, but it does okay. I was finding some problems with the magazine on mine. I don't know if this is just my unit, or maybe my BBs are a little corroded and they're having a little bit of trouble, especially on a full magazine. I'm finding that they're not feeding well. So I've been playing around with throwing a little bit of pellet gun oil in there, and it seems to be working a little better. I also put some oil on the port where the BBs go in, where basically the barrel moves forward. It seemed to be a little bit sticky there, so I put some pellet gun oil in there, and it seemed to be working a little better. So I'll have to play around with this a bit more to find out what that's all about. So let's take a real quick look here. I'm going to show you this side. So this switch here is basically your safety and your fire. So it's safety, fire. On the fully automatic model, you'd have another one for fully auto here, but this model doesn't have it. So this is your mag release here. So you just use that to release your magazine and put it in. Let's take a look at the magazine. So the BBs go down the back, and so what happens is it goes to the bottom. You would pull this down to load the BBs. So you pull, see if you can pull this down here to load the BBs. And then once they're all loaded up, you can't forget there's a little button on the bottom here. You push that and the whole thing snaps up. If you don't do that, it's not going to load BBs. So make sure you do that. And also make sure that when you put this in, when you make sure you put that in, you make sure it clicks in all the way. Alright, this is where the ejection port is, and I'll just sort of let you see how that works. There's a little cocking mechanism here, but it doesn't really do much. This is your stock here, and it's a folding stock, which is pretty cool. You just sort of give it a little bit of a twist, move it up, and it locks into place. So I'm going to switch it around here. Now, the things that I've added are the rail, or this rail here, this Picatinny rail. Now in Canada and the US, it doesn't come with this. In Canada and US, it doesn't come with the other butt plate here too, and that would allow you to take the stock off. It just comes with this single plate with the folding stock. Doesn't come with the Picatinny rail. You have to order this through like a paintball site or someplace that has accessories for that. And it doesn't come with the strap. I added this strap. I went to a hunting store and just added these straps here. And it doesn't obviously come with the red dot scope. Now I had to make a sort of a little bit of a sacrifice here. This guy doesn't go up because what's happened is my Picatinny rail's in the way. But this is, again, this is a non-functioning. It doesn't really cock it or anything, so it doesn't serve any purpose. So I figured I'd rather have the red dot scope working for me. And that's just the way it is sometimes. the gun feels really cool. It's, you know, as far as all the licensing, all the H&K MP5K, all the licensing, the cosmetics, it looks like the real gun. You know, really, what you don't need to ask for too much more when it goes to that. Now for let's just take a look. I'll show you where the CO2 goes. What you need to do is you need to pop these guys out. Easier said than done. Actually, what I'm going to do here, so what I'm going to do is release the CO2 because this one's almost done. I've got big man hands here, so this isn't easy for me. It is a little awkward. You're going to hear a hiss in a sec. There we go. There wasn't much left. And then once you've done that, you pull these pins out, and then you can take the buttstock off. And that's where your CO2 goes. You got to pull this all the way out to get the CO2. If you don't pull this pin out all the way, this pin here, then you're not going to get the CO2 in or out. So you can see here, the CO2 goes in there. And it's kind of a weird place to have it. But you know, I'd rather have it there than have it in some place where it's obvious that it's a CO2 powered gun. So you know, it's a little bit hard, a little bit monkeying around. But basically, you put a new CO2 in, and then you would tighten up this thing, this little piercing. This will push the CO2 forward and pierces it. So essentially, that's it. That's the gun. Really cool. You know, again, comparing it to the Steel Storm, if I were going to buy one or the other, I would probably buy the Steel Storm just because it is so much fun. That gun just, it shoots hard, it shoots really fast. I think it's actually more accurate. You know, it's dual CO2, it's fully auto. It's just a lot of fun. Maybe it doesn't look like a, you know, a licensed firearm, but you know, at the end of the day, that Steel Storm is just a hoot to shoot. So anyways, you know, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a realistic looking BB gun, this, no comparison, this one would be the one you'd get. So hopefully that's helped you. I'm going to go and actually do a part 2 to this, and I'm going to give it a bit of a field test, just a little bit of shooting. It won't be very long. So hope you enjoyed this, and stick around for some other videos down the road. Take care.